What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Sixers Digest YouTube channel. My name is Sean Barnard, and I'm here to break down today a fan favorite of the Sixers is no longer with the organization. No, don't panic. It's not Joel Embiid. It's not Tyrese Maxey. It's not B-Ball Paul, but Mac McClung has found a new location. Now, before I dive into it, I would like to remind each of you guys to make sure to hit that subscribe button. Still, 93.6% of you guys out there are not subscribed to the channel, so I'm going to keep making sure we're getting those numbers up, building this Sixers community here the right way. We got a ton of plans for the season coming up, so I want to make sure you guys are not missing out on anything here every step of the ride. So hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and hang along with me for the season. Now let's get into Mac McClung. So we've seen some whispers of Mac McClung. His outlook with these Sixers, unfortunately, did not look meant to be. There will always be the Mac McClung moment. We always know the dunk contest. And I do want to pull it up here just so we will always have this to remember him by.
And he putting on the handle. Ladies and gentlemen, it is over, ladies and gentlemen. It is a wrap.
So I love the "it's over" sign there. I love how he sees the moment, and I genuinely will always remember that extremely fondly because it's cool to watch moments where you know that's like the best moment of a person's life. And at that point, at that time, Mac McClung was on the top of the world. Now, unfortunately, he would no longer be suiting up for the Philadelphia 76ers. He will be joining the Orlando Magic organization. We saw some interest that they had signed Mac McClung a couple weeks ago now, and it was made official by a trade coming together yesterday. A little hard to understand, but the basics of it is to make sure that he can only play for the Magic this year, the Magic and their G League affiliate, that there was a trade. It brought back Jeff Doughton and a second-round pick in the G League draft to the Sixers, so a little bit of something there in return. Jeff Doughton is a little bit of an intriguing prospect, a guy who went to the University of Rhode Island, a little bit of a solid player, okay shooter, does a little bit of it all. Not a guy I know a ton about. Watched him a little bit play at URI. I don't remember him a ton from the G League. I've been a little more in and out of my Blue Coats coverage compared to the Sixers. I know, shout out Ben Rogers over at Raptors Digest is pretty high on him. Jeff Doughton's a guy who's had a cup of coffee in the league at a couple different spots now with the Raptors, with the Golden State Warriors, and with the Milwaukee Bucks as well. So a guy who's been around. He's 25, can do a little bit of all. A good talent piece to add to the organization, but not a guy that I necessarily have a strong belief that he will be joining the Sixers pipeline to the NBA, especially when you consider that there's guys like Terquavion Smith, like Ricky Council IV, and even like the new addition in David Duke Jr. that I think are significantly ahead of him on the pecking order, but nonetheless good to get something in return and good for Mac to get another opportunity. Now, it is a little unfortunate when we look at the situation. He's about to turn 25, and when you kind of evaluate what your NBA future is, and there was a cool interview with Mac last year talking about how he could be making more money overseas, that he would rather continue chasing this NBA dream, and I do hope he gets it. I'm going to pull up here are his G League stats from the past couple seasons, and he is a good player at the G League level. When you look at these stats, I mean, last year with the Blue Coats, 19.6 points per game, a guy who can do it all, that he does some rebounds, he can pass the ball, that 5 assists per game, and his three-point shooting has taken some phenomenal stretch forwards. I mean, 47.4% last year is really absurd number, and that is one thing that stood out to me every time I watched Mac McClung with the Blue Coats, is he's not just this high-flying dunker. He's not just this guy that can jump out of the gym and do these highlight reel things, that he is a complete basketball player. There's other areas of his game that do stand out, and I do think that is important to note, and I think it's lost sometimes in the context when talking about Mac McClung. Yes, he's always going to be known as that guy that can jump out the gym and lit up highlight reels since the time that he was in high school, but there's more to his game than that, and I really know that he wants that to be understood. That was one of the messages that he always portrayed in every single interview, that just watch my game, that I'm not just out here to put on a highlight reel, that I actually can play basketball the right way, and he can. Now, looking at his NBA stats as a whole, not a lot there. Just 4 total games that he has gotten in the NBA. You can see he got a little bit of an opportunity with the Lakers, with the Bulls, and of course with the Sixers. There's just not enough a sample size there. He did get extended run in the one opportunity, which juiced up the numbers. You can see the 12.5 points per game. So he did have one strong performance, which was very cool. But it is difficult that there isn't this clean outlook. And maybe in Orlando that he gets more of an opportunity. I'm honestly not the most optimistic about that when you think about the number of guards, whether it be Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, a number of other guys that are young, intriguing prospects that they're really building up a young core. So as much as it's great that he's getting a clean slate, a fresh start, I think it's going to be more competitive for minutes than people realize. Oftentimes when we think the Orlando Magic is kind of one of these young team that isn't that great, there'll be plenty of minutes to go around. But they got a lot of guys that need the ball, that need time on the court, need to develop. So it is a difficult situation there for sure. And another thing that I just wanted to point out about Mac McClung, genuinely one of the nicest human beings that I've interacted with across this space. That every brief interaction, and he's not a guy that I know incredibly well or have talked to much, but that he's just incredibly grateful. And you can tell him he's grateful for the opportunity. He's appreciative. He takes the time with every single person. I wanted to pull up this picture here from Alex Yo, who runs the show down at the Blue Coats for the Sixers organization. Another incredibly nice guy. But he posts a picture of McClung talking to this kid. No cameras around, nothing in there. And the tweet just says, Mac McClung's time in Delaware is marked by plenty of flashy imagery, big spotlights, and even a championship ring. But this pic represents what many of us will remember most. In the doors closed, no fan moments. Mac McClung may have shined the brightest. Thanks, Mac, for the magic. So very cool there, and that is one of the things that I think should not go unnoticed. That it's interesting when you see guys get to these space, and that when they're itching to get in the NBA, that at times it's that hunger kind of drives them crazy. That they're so locked in, so focused. That has never been Mac McClung. That every interaction that he shares, he's spreading positivity to others. He's appreciating the moment that he has, and he's making a difference on others. So I do hope he gets an opportunity. I do hope he gets the pieces together. For these Sixers, I don't think this is a landmark day. I think this is one that they will see what they got in Jeff Doughton. They will give Mac an opportunity somewhere else, and they will look to repeat on their G League title as they are defending. And McClung was a huge part of that he was the go-to guy for stretches of time, and especially with guys ahead of him kind of going up and down. Jaden Springer, for example, was back and forth with the Sixers. Didn't play much with the Sixers, but he was on the bench and up with the pro team versus heading back down to the Blue Coats. So guys like that, McClung was more or less the steady ship for them last year, the driving force to lead them to this championship. They did lose in the championship the year before and managed to win the whole thing last year. So a lot of success with the Blue Coats G Leagues. That's a huge staple of the program, of the organization for these Sixers. That talent needs to continue being cultivated, and that is a huge sign of progress. So I do wish Mac the best. I am happy to see that he is getting an opportunity somewhere else, and I hope that his NBA dream is not over yet. Let's hope that this is the opportunity that he deserves. He gets a chance in Orlando, and he is a guy that I can confidently say will seize the moment if he absolutely gets it. Yes, he's a little undersized. Yes, he's going to struggle defensively a little bit, but he is a good enough shooter at this point. He is a high-level athlete. He's a guy that can play above the rim, is a good playmaker, and is a good locker room guy. If he's a guy you want to keep on your 14th, 15th spot, I really don't think it is a waste of a roster spot. That he can come in and at least make a difference and he'll play his ass off, he will do his thing, and I am a Mac McClung guy for that. So appreciate you guys for tuning in this video. Hopefully no more fan favorites will be on the move from the Sixers. There's only so few that we have left considering the unlikability of a good number of players on this team. So shout out to Mac McClung for doing his thing. Shout out to you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we will talk next time here on Sixers Digest. Peace.